Others are fast-moving.
Unlike other big rallies,
Cockpit earlier at about 7 a.m. A group from the Coast Guard.
Welcome to #PH Vote 2013.
Today on Rappler, the Philippines gets an upgrade in its aviation rating. Senator Santiago urges RH law advocates to appeal provisions struck down by the Supreme Court. And the International Monetary Fund cuts its global growth forecast to 3.6% for 2014.
Hello, I'm Natasha Gutierrez sitting in for Maria Ressa. Welcome to Rappler, your social news network. After 6 years, the Philippines regains its much-coveted rating upgrade from U.S. aviation authorities. The U.S. Federal Aviation Administration, or FAA, grants the Philippines a Category 1 rating for complying with safety standards set by the International Civil Aviation Organization, or ICAO. A Category 1 rating allows Philippine carriers to add flights to the United States. In a statement, Transport Secretary June Abaya praises the U.S. agency's move, saying it cements a landmark era in the Philippine aviation sector. The Philippines held a Category 1 rating until January 2008, when it was downgraded to Category 2 by the FAA. It prompted the European Union to blacklist Philippine carriers 2 years later. The Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines worked to address safety concerns to regain its Category 1 status and get off the EU's blacklist. In March 2013, the ICAO gave the Philippines a passing mark in its safety audit. The upgrade to Category 1 came after the EU lifted a ban on Philippine carriers in July 2013. Senator Miriam Santiago urges supporters to appeal the Supreme Court ruling on the reproductive health law. In a statement, Santiago says there's a chance to convince the High Tribunal to declare as constitutional the 8 provisions it struck down. Santiago says, "I am fairly confident that a more exhaustive study of the principles of constitutional law will support a reconsideration of all 8 provisions." On April 8, the court declared the RH law constitutional except for 8 provisions. RH law authors in the House of Representatives said the ruling does not diminish the law. In a TV interview, Senator Pia Cayetano said if 1 or 2 provisions would be stricken down, "To me, that's acceptable, as long as the heart and the meat of the bill is still there." And it is, without a doubt. The National Bureau of Investigation files a case against the stem cell physician of former President Gloria Aroyo for the illegal practice of medicine. Alternative medicine Dr. Antonia Carandang Park is charged for violating Republic Act 2382, or the Medical Act of 1959. The Bureau's investigation found that Park misrepresented herself as a licensed physician on several occasions. Park and some of her staff faced charges of estafa and reckless imprudence resulting in homicide, with the death of 23-year-old Kate Tan after undergoing stem cell treatment. Park supposedly signed an official statement in her diagnosis suggesting stem cell therapy for Aroyo, who suffers from debilitating neck and back pain. Park is also not in the Professional Regulatory Commission database of physicians as of August 2013. Park earlier told Rappler that she is an unlicensed physician in the Philippines, but said she is a registered medical practitioner in London and Korea. Interior Secretary Mar Rojas goes around Leyte towns and cities affected by Typhoon Yolanda or Haiyan to distribute 802 million pesos in checks for the rehabilitation of public buildings. Rojas says the government will release an initial 1.8 million pesos to rehabilitate and reconstruct vital public buildings owned and operated by local government units in Yolanda-affected areas. The biggest share of the funds will go to Tacloban City. Over 230 million pesos from the Interior Department will be spent to rehabilitate Tacloban City Hall, Public Market, and Civic Center. Among the 4 provinces affected by the typhoon, Leyte will receive the biggest chunk of the initial fund release. The second batch of funds amounts to over 358 million pesos. World Food Program Philippines National Ambassador Casey Concepcion says hunger and malnutrition are the world's greatest health risks. The two are even greater than AIDS, malaria, and tuberculosis combined. But with informed action, hunger can be stopped. In partnership with the Social Welfare Department and the WFP, Rappler's Hunger Project aims to raise awareness about hunger in the Philippines. Concepcion emphasizes the impact of hunger on productivity.
there's nothing you can do when you're hungry, and there's nothing you can do when you're chronically hungry, which is the focus of the World Food Program, is to really target acute malnutrition.
In 2013, the Global Hunger Index ranks the Philippines the 28th hungriest country in the world. Concepcion says the problem lies in the lack of access to food resources.
The biggest issue for us is really purchasing power, not being able to have access to the same food resources. And we don't know. A lot of people that I talk to are shocked to find out that there might be an issue of hunger in the Philippines.
Yeah.
Kasi ang hihilig natin kumain, there's so
And
much
we're an
food.
agricultural country.
We're an agricultural country.
Yeah.
We have oceans and
Yes.
the seas surrounding our country. So why should there be a lack of resources? And that's exactly the point. There's enough food in the whole world to go around to feed the whole population of the world. So it's more about equal distribution of food, and it's all about being able to have access to that food.
The Justice Department filed serious illegal detention and grave coercion charges against businessman Cedric Lee and his camp over the mauling of ABS-CBN comedian host Vong Navarro. The investigating panel finds probable cause to indict Lee, his sister Bernice, model Denise Cornejo, and 4 others. The charges are based on the January 22 mauling incident where Lee's camp beat up Navarro for allegedly raping Cornejo. In the same resolution, the panel dismisses Cornejo's rape charge against Navarro. Car manufacturer Toyota recalls almost 6.4 million vehicles worldwide. It announces 6 separate recalls involving 26 Toyota models. Problems found include a driver's seat defect, steering column problems, and an engine starter glitch that poses a fire risk. The car manufacturer also recalls Innova, Fortuner, and Hilux models sold from November 2004 to June 2010. Toyota says the problem may prevent the airbag from deploying in a crash. Authorized Toyota dealers in the Philippines will replace parts for free. Let's now look at Rappler's Wrap for today, a list of the 10 most important events around the world you shouldn't miss. At number 5, the International Monetary Fund, or IMF, cuts its global growth forecast because of the Ukraine crisis and the slowdown in major emerging economies. In a new report, the IMF cuts back the forecast to 3.6% this year and 3.9% in 2015. The global economy grew 3% in 2013. At number 8, the U.S. space agency NASA reveals ambitious plans at a U.S. Senate hearing on space missions. Among its goals, to send human missions to Mars and throwing an asteroid to the moon. NASA Associate Administrator William Gerstenmaier says the agency is looking at long-term human exploration of the solar system. He adds, "We're going to grab a piece of the solar system, we're going to deflect it around the moon and insert it into a distant retrograde orbit around the moon where our crews can go visit." NASA is targeting a Mars trip by the 2030s. And at number 10, iconic comic book character Archie Andrews gets an unexpected ending to his story. CNN reports the freckled redhead will meet his untimely death in issue number 36, to be published July 2014. The story will revolve around how he makes a sacrifice to save another friend. Issue number 37, which will be published a week later, will be the last for the series and will be set a year after Archie's death. Archie's death is seen to underscore his impact on pop culture and pay tribute to the smiling everyman. For the full top 10, visit Rappler.com's The Wrap. Filipina-American fashion model Gina Rera tells Rappler she spent years hiding her identity as a transgender woman until her recent TED Talk. Rera's coming out as a transgender woman inspired thousands around the world. Rera says her mom convinced her to fly to the U.S. and live as a woman.
The culture that I grew up with in the Philippines, especially when I was doing all the beauty pageant, was a lot of fun. So, you know, when my mom called me that I needed to all of a sudden leave that life, I really resisted it. But then Mom, she specifically said that to me. Well, if you're really a woman, if you really want to be a woman to fully, be recognized as a woman, there is a law in the United States that would allow you to change name and gender marker. That really clicked.
Soon after coming out, she founded Gender Proud.
Gender Proud is, it's a campaign that's raising awareness to transgender individuals all over the world. But at the core of Gender Proud is we're trying to create a global, unified messaging why it's important for countries all over the world to adopt a new policy on gender recognition law. We are all assigned gender at birth, and sometimes that gender assignment just doesn't match. So people should be allowed to self-identify whether you want to transition from male to female to male, or gender variant.
For our social media post of the day, the second season finale of reality search show Asia's Next Top Model stirs online anger among Filipino fans. Malaysian Sheena Liam emerged winner with Filipinas Jodelie Pendre and Katerina Rodriguez as runners-up. Avid followers were dismayed with the results when Jodelie, the online favorite, ended up second place. At Tech Pinas says, I have wonderful Malaysian friends and I hope Malaysia finds that airplane. But clearly, Jodelie deserved that title more. At Shanji says, a contest held in Malaysia, judged by Malaysians, sponsored by Malaysians, and a Malaysian won. Not surprised. Every story on Rappler has a mood meter, which gives you 8 emotions to choose from. Click how you feel and your vote comes down to the mood navigator in the middle of the front page, which crowdsources the mood of the day. It also gives you the top 10 stories with the most clicks. Let's check out today's mood navigator. Okay, let's see 3 green circles on the left. Let's pick one of them. The smallest one, DOJ dismisses Denise Cornejo rape complaint versus Vong Navarro. This was in today's newscast. This story has 68% of people feeling happy and 13% say they don't care. Over to the right, one of 2 purple circles. 2 Pinays runner-ups to Sheena Liam in Asia's Next Top Model. 73% are annoyed and 14% are angry. And the biggest circle in the middle is related to that story as well. Netizens react to Asia's Next Top Model finale. 67% are annoyed, and again, a big number are angry, 17%. All these stories contribute to the mood of the day. Today, most people are annoyed. That's Rappler's newscast for today, Thursday, April 10, 2014. Visit Rappler.com and watch our newscast Monday to Friday. Tell us how you feel on our mood meter and help us crowdsource the mood of the day. I'm Natasha Gutierrez. As we say at Rappler, tomorrow begins today.